We all saw before some of the Justice League on the wrong side. So how can the world guarantee safety from the most powerful humans or creatures on Earth? That was a question Batman asked himself. So he did a plan to stop, not kill, anyone in the Justice League if he goes wild. He even did one for himself. But what will happen if someone managed to steal those plans and made a small change? Modify it to kill all of the Justice League. Is he really gonna succeed in killing them? And how? Also, what will happen after that if he managed to? And the most important thing is, what are those plans? Well, stick around to find all this, and of course, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell. Our story begins with Batman who finds a dead guard in front of a bank. There was a robbery in action, and the A Squad used a high-tech that enabled them to pass through the walls. He called Cyborg to inform him about what happened and told him to come to see that technology and went to stop the robbery. Ace King saw Batman hiding in the shadow, so he started to attack, and the whole squad tried to bring Batman down, but eventually, all Justice League showed up and finished them off. Meanwhile, Cyborg was outside taking a look on the device they used, and he knows that Ace Squad can't invest something like that. So Wonder Woman used her lasso to ask them from where they got that device, but they don't know. They couldn't find anything, so Batman, who was injured, returned to the Batmobile. And he imagined he saw someone in the mirror, but there's no one in the back seat. So he returned to the Batcave intending to look for any lead in that case. But Alfred prevented him to, cause he needs rest. So unhappily, he agrees. When the Batcave became empty, we see Mirror Master getting out of the Batmobile, heading to the computer, and use the device to steal some encrypted files. Then we see Bane in swamps, and he meets Star Sapphire and Metallo with Cheetah and Malefic. They see a building coming out of the swamps, so they headed to it, cause they felt it was an invitation. That was the Hall of Doom, and they meet someone called Vandal Savage. He told that every one of them want the Justice League dead, and on many occasions, they couldn't defeat them. But he has a plan to kill all of them, and of course, they immediately agree. Bruce was sitting on his computer when Alfred came to him with bad news. Then we see Bruce going to his parents' tombstone, and the bodies weren't there. Bane appeared behind him and pushed him to the empty grave. Martian Manhunter, who was disguised as a human, found a woman offering him a drink, so he goes to talk to her, but he finds it's Malefic. Malefic told him the drink had magnesium. Of course, it won't kill him because his body will filter it over time, but that's when Malefic used a match to light him up, and unluckily, the fire is gonna last for weeks. Wonder Woman was facing Cheetah. Cheetah managed to scratch her, but that scratch was poisonous, and the poison started to give its effect. Barry, aka Flash, was in a crime scene when he got the news that Mirror Master is stealing a train. So he puts his Flash suit and went to stop the robbery. Eventually, he came across Mirror Master and a woman in a glass box. Mirror Master started the timer of the bomb in the box, and the woman will die unless Flash used his superpowers to open the box. But when he did, something came out and put a bomb in his wrist, and it was a bomb. The bomb had a 3-mile radius. If he tried to remove the bomb, it will explode. If he didn't do anything in 60 seconds, it will explode. And the last thing, if he starts running, he can't stop, cause if he slowed down, it will explode. So Flash decided to run, cause at least he'll protect the passengers. Meanwhile, in Metropolis, Lois Lane found one of her colleagues trying to jump off the building, so she called Clark to inform him about what happened. Hal was also on a mission to stop a mine robbery, which is kinda weird cause who is gonna steal mines? Anyhow, there were hostages. He managed to free all of them, but he couldn't save the last one cause the criminal blowed himself with the hostage. He dug up her body, and then Carol, aka Star Sapphire, shows up. Star Sapphire told him he could have saved her, but he couldn't do the right choice, and she started to play with his mind to convince him he doesn't deserve that much power, and she was pretty convincing cause Hal's source of power is will, and if he doesn't have it, the ring won't work, and that's exactly what the ring did. It fell off his hands. Meanwhile, Superman went to save that reporter and convinced him to live, but suddenly, he shot Superman, and that was Metallo, and he used a kryptonite bullet. Superman fell from the air to the ground and started to take his last breath. Wonder Woman was fighting Cheetah, but she was outnumbered, and that was the effect of the poison. Returning once again to Bruce, Bane beat him a little, and he couldn't do anything except asking about his parents, and finally, Bane buried him alive. All of the Justice League is defeated, and one of them is technically dead. Barry has to run for the rest of his life, Superman got a bullet in his heart and no surgery can save him cause his skin is solid to any metal on Earth. Manhunter's not gonna die, but he will burn for weeks. Hal has no will left. But who's gonna save the day? Bruce woke up in the coffin and started to punch the surface to get out. Meanwhile, in the League of Doom headquarters, all of them was celebrating victory. Savage told them he intended to kill half of the people on Earth. We come to know he's immortal and he's been alive from the beginning of mankind. He was a normal human being, but one day, a strange meteor fell on Earth. All his tribe ran away except him, who was fascinated by its light and heat, so he slept next to it, and in the next morning, he felt his change. He became much smarter and much powerful, and he's alive since then and can't die. Bruce finally managed to come back from the dead. Meanwhile, Wonder Woman was facing numerous versions of Cheetah, and we come to know that she sees anyone as Cheetah. Cyborg arrived and tried to help her. He scanned her brain and knew something is happening to her, but she attacked him too. He noticed something like a device in her brain, making her to hallucinate, so he used a high wave frequency to destroy that device, and Wonder Woman is saved. Bruce was in the Batcave when Alfred appeared to tell him Superman has been shot. So he called Flash and told him to go to Star Labs and make them turn a kryptonite piece into a scalpel. But Flash told him he can't and told him about the bomb, and if he stops, then Batman finishes the sentence, it will explode. So he called Manhunter to ask for help, but he was still burning up and eventually fell into the water. Batman stand up in a hurry and told Alfred to get the Batwing ready cause the Justice League is under attack. So Alfred asks by who? That's when Batman told him, by me. Batman took the Batwing and called Wonder Woman to check on her, but she's fine now. So he called Flash who's starting to get tired. Batman asked him how far he is from an iceberg. But he's the Flash and he can find one in a minute. So Batman told him to vibrate through an iceberg. Meanwhile, we see Wonder Woman jumping into water and inject Manhunter with something turn the fire off. Flash vibrates through the iceberg and it worked, and finally, the Flash is also safe. Batman told him they can save Superman and Green Lantern if they do what he says. Wonder Woman, Cyborg, and Manhunter were discussing what happened, and Manhunter asked how Wonder Woman knew the exact substance to neutralize the magnesium he was secreting. But Cyborg told him it was Batman's instruction, so how did he know? Batman went to Hal. He told him none of this is his fault. It's a situation made to convince him he made a bad call, but he didn't. And also, the entire place is full of Scarecrow's fear gas, cause will is the source of his powers and fear is its enemy. Hal needed no more to convince him that he didn't do anything wrong, and the Green Lantern is back. While in the Batwing, Hal told him, no way Star Sapphire came up with this. So the Batman told him he's the one who did this to him and all of them. They arrived to Metropolis, and Batman gave a kryptonite piece to Cyborg and told him to focus his laser to the piece and use it to cut Superman's skin to take the bullet out, and luckily, they succeed. In the Justice League headquarters, Batman told them all of this was his plans. He studied the past and the present of every member in the Justice League and came up with a plan to neutralize, not kill them, if they ever turned to the other side. Superman told him none of them would ever do that to him. So he told them, then you're damned fools. Batman continued and told them he knows how it happened. He showed them the video where Mirror Master stole his files, and luckily, his files sent their location to the Batcave if they ever opened, and the location was pointing to the swamps, where the League of Doom is. Meanwhile, Savage was intending to kill half of the Earth by sending missiles to the sun. The explosions will start a solar flare wave, which is gonna destroy the Earth. That's when the Justice League showed up, and every one of them faced his nemesis. They took a few seconds, but they managed to get their revenge. Meanwhile, Cyborg was trying to stop the missiles, but Savage stabbed him from the back and launched the missiles. Superman kills Metallo and pursues the missiles. Meanwhile, Hal defeated Star Sapphire and Wonder Woman told him about the missiles, and Superman went to help. Superman managed to destroy all of them except one, which was enough to start the solar flare wave. He went back to Earth to figure what to do, while Hal tried to stop the flare for a couple of minutes. All of them tried to figure something, and finally Cyborg told them they had planned to survive, and he means the League of Doom. He reminds them of the technology that the Ace Squad used, and the same tech Savage was gonna use to survive, and he told them the whole place is a device made out of that tech, and they can use it to make the flare pass through the Earth. But it would be much better if it's a little higher, but luckily, Superman can help with that. Superman left the building to space. He and Manhunter started to connect the wires, and finally, it's ready to work. Hal's shield is destroyed by the flare, and now it's headed to Earth. Cyborg needed more time to test it, but Batman told him, "This is the test," and it turns on immediately, and luckily, it worked. The flare passed right through Earth, and once again, Earth is safe. In their next meeting, we know that Savage took a life sentence with no chance of release, and Cyborg officially joined the Justice League. And finally, they have to vote about what Batman did, and Wonder Woman told him to give him a chance to defend himself. Batman told him, "My action doesn't require defense, and if the same situation happened, he will do it again. And if you people," he means the Justice League, "can't see the danger of an outraged member, I don't need to wait for a vote. This is not my place." Then he took off to return to Earth. Superman went to talk to him. He told him he got plans for every member of them, and he forgot himself, but Batman told him he got one, and it's called the Justice League. Superman gave him the kryptonite bullet just in case if anything happens, and Batman returned to Earth again. And that's when the movie ends. Thanks for watching. See you soon and goodbye.